they were on fire in the last series.
Well, game number 1 is loading up, ladies and gentlemen. It is your grand final of EU Open Cup number 1. It is going to be Team Infused. They have to win 2 best-of-7s here to take all of the seeding points and that top prize, of course, taking on a Beaver. Let's see how this one plays out. Capture the flag on truth. Of course, that camouflage is going to be so important. And Harry, I don't know if we could get an early camo cam, maybe.
Want to see a camo cam? All right, this is something I've been practicing on my own stream. And it looks like an early fight for the camouflage is going to be picked up by Kimbo. So Kimbo, no shields will go down. You called for it, Mark. I personally didn't want to go to camo cam right there, but that's fine.
I'm a people pleaser, Harry. I'm a people pleaser.
Still in the beta phase, but early slays here coming in from the lads of the Beaver squad. That's what I'm calling them right now. And you can see, again, Snipe Drone picking up 2. Snaky now is allowed to sit on P3, and it's the objective mastermind, once again, Ramirez, who has just been assisted by Snipe Drone. Snipe Drone will pick up that kill, and now Ramirez is allowed to run this flag, smartly getting his shields back, and this is Infused already on the ropes. This is a flag capture gone. They really can't overextend like Jimbo is right here. He's the last alive. This is going to allow his team, basically, it's going to put them at a disadvantage. I'm not sure why Jimbo was trying to make a play right there. They're already 1-0 down in the game within a minute. So let's see what Flux can do now from a rate Beaver. I just read it at the top of the screen. Honestly, it doesn't get easier to read.
I don't blame it, but this is the first time I've seen Infused, a squad we thought was literally a god squad, actually playing scared. They're not playing as aggressive as they normally do. I've seen like Snipe Drone and whoever else was actually going up top mid with them, you know, just going up and just pushing a lot harder, a lot more aggressive. And it seems like Infused are actually confused and actually don't know what to do. And we were talking about in-game leader, this could be one of their downfalls at the moment.
Oh, no, but Jimbo gets taken down. Sorry, Jimbo manages to take down Flux there. That flag is still away momentarily. However, players are coming off the respawn here for Infused. That flag is still out. They are going to get an easy return on that one. Snaky doing such a good job, though, just putting pressure on these respawners. And this is the first time we've really seen the guys from Infused getting over that 50-yard line and putting some pressure on the base. It's going to be Mose who's set up in PT. Oh, it's actually Jimbo as we swap over to him, getting an important beatdown, finishing off that kill. Can he finish off Flux as well? Jimbo doing work under the base. He's looking for the triple kill. Can he finish off Snaky? Snaky gets finished by Respectful. That's going to be pretty much all dead, but one player coming off the respawn, Snipe Drone, is going to shut down this flag run. Not sure if anyone is trying to push in for Team Infused here. It's going to be 2 kills down. Snipe Drone could be taken down as well here. Does manage to trade a kill out. Infused should be able to get this flag away and start a run of their own. Yeah, it looks like Kimbo's going to be running the flag. Jimbo just grabbed the new camouflage, so we'll swap over to him, the next available opportunity. Kimbo just went down, so that's that flag capture stop. 2 things I want to highlight from that last passage of play. 1, Snipe Drone clearing his own base. So important he did that. It stopped the flag run early. If he overextends right there, honestly, the flag is probably gone, and it's already a capture for the lads on Team Infused. But a return all because Snipe Drone did not overextend. That's the importance of clearing your own base. When you know a player is weak in there, you need to make sure that kill happens. The second thing I want to highlight, something that Infused have been working on, really flanking that basement of the opposition. That double from Jimbo, the almost triple we saw, really allowed opportunities for his team to run the flag. Didn't work out for them that time. They didn't come out with the capture, but now they have an opportunity here to outslay the Rate Beaver and potentially push out, as Flux is the last alive.
There was literally about 2 deadouts going for the flag, but the thing is that one of them is actually quite next to it, but I'm not sure what's going on with the communication with Infused at the moment. It seems to be not just here, there, and everywhere. There's a little bit of communication, but the problem is the fact that they seem to be reacting a lot slower than they should be. So it's not the Infused we're actually seeing at the moment, but it looks like after a few more minutes into the game, hopefully it'll go back to their old ways. Nice stick here coming in, but he does actually finish off that kill first, Mose. Snipe Drone going to be taken down. That's 1 kill down. There's going to be players just playing defensively here. Mose, all he has to do right now, stay alive under this base, buy your teammates time, allow them to push up, and that is exactly what's happening. Kimbo picks up a kill. Mose is going to drop down on this player. Can't quite finish it off, though. Oh, and no, Snaky turns it around on Mose and hits the ground pound. Mose should have had that kill. Kimbo picks up the kill on Snaky, though. That's going to be 2 dead here for the guys on a Beaver. Snipe Drone going to be challenging this player. It's going to be Kimbo taking him down. And once again, Infused seem to be picking up the kills in the base, but they just cannot put a successful flag run together.
Yeah, again, another really nice basement flank from Infused, but it was this man right here, Flux, doing a really great job of getting height advantage. When you have players flanking your own basement and trying to flank your flag behind you, look at those shots from Jimbo, by the way, as Kimbo just recently picks up the camouflage. When you have players flanking your own basement, you need height. I like the way Flux was sitting in the car attic. He can, you know, sit to pink attic as he got that perfect on Jimbo there.
No! Oh, no.
Run! Flux himself is running a flag now. And,
okay.
Oh, I don't know what just happened there, Kimbo. That's just one of those Halo 5 beatdowns. I'm not sure what happened. He looked away as if he got the beatdown, but couldn't quite get the backsmack off.
It's a shame because I literally was just about to say Kimbo has some fantastic patience, but I think as he turned around, he did smack him, but it was just barely on the side of his body rather than actually on his back. So going from there, I just could not believe how it was a bit of a waste of camo, but it looks like Kimbo now is going to try and get another flag down.
Yeah, if Kimbo can get this one around the corner, his teammates are picking up kills in that kill feed again. Kimbo going to tie this one up here. It's 1-1 as Team Infused do get on the board. Kimbo saving face ever so slightly there as a slight embarrassment with that camo. But he's going to put in the flag to tie this one up. Looking to finish off the kill on Ramirez. Lovely headshot to take him down. Now going to be challenging Flux, who has that height advantage up on P3. Interesting challenge. Not sure he had to challenge that one. You could see his teammates were pushing up. All he had to do was buy time there. Once again, Infused slightly impetuous in what they were trying to do there. Kimbo being taken down. And look, once again, it's a Beaver putting pressure on.
Yeah, it's interesting here actually to see Ramirez blocking bubble. Usually when you're pushing into the base, you want players spawning in this particular position. And this is what a lot of people worry about Ramirez, his ability to win those key individual fights. If he kills that player right there, if he kills Jimbo, stays alive, he can back off into bubble and be that nuisance. That's kind of why he was playing that position. But if you can't make those individual fights happen, you really should be freeing up that spawn, allowing their players to spawn in that area, make them make a decision, make them come back into their own base where it's easy for them to slay, or make them overextend where it's easy for you to slay.
And this is so interesting right now. You can see the guys on the red team here have two players split across the map. Snipedrone and a teammate were in the Infused base. Two of their teammates were at home, and it looks like Snipedrone, if he can pick up this kill on Kimbo, is going to have a really good opportunity. Snipedrone finishes the kill off. They're going to put in the second flag. They were split across the map there. Ramirez did win one of those key 1v1s, like you said, across the map, allowing Snipedrone to get that pull, and it is going to put them up 2-1. And look at this, the camouflage is coming up. Flux has missed it. He's finally managed to get it in his bag, and now the third flag and potentially final flag could be moving.
Yeah, this really should be, as Eelvite over in North America likes to say,
oh, no.
All she wrote. But Flux, what is that windmill? That could power the entire country, my friend. Will make amends as he just about takes down Kimbo. But I love the way that this team is working in tandem. Flux, Snipedrone, Ramirez, they're all working together, and Snaky at the moment does have the flag. This would be a kill return.
This is going to be a huge return.
Snaky does have the flag. He was just taken down, though. Kimbo should be on the recov on the other side. I believe he's pushing for it at the moment, but
Ramirez has got it. Ramirez has got it.
And this is the game.
Oh my goodness, I could not believe how some of her counter-attacks wasn't really, it was just, you know what, there were so many mistakes in that game where I felt like, you know, they could have took Pink back, but it seems like they had control of Pink the entire game, and it says that they made a poor attempt going in 1 by 1, but well played by the Beaver squad.
Something jumps out to me there, Harry. You just want to highlight that one. 23, 10 and 12 from Snipedrone, and I actually wanted to highlight him. We talked about Ramirez, Snaky and Flux, how aggressive those three are. Snaky, one of the best support players in Europe. Snipedrone, all he's got to do is listen to those guys. They have incredible communication. We know Snipedrone is a listener, not a talker. He has an incredible shot. He looks like he might have found a home on this squad.
Maybe that's another one of the reasons they want Ramirez on that team, right? I mean, we saw on the second capture where we swapped over to Snipedrone, he was running the flag. He was actually working in tandem with Ramirez, who was on that bubble like we saw him earlier on in the game. We saw on the player outlines. He made the call for Snipedrone saying, hey, they're all at pink. They think we're all in our base. Our boys back at home, they're doing a great job of turtling up. They're giving us some time right here. Why don't we just run this flag carbine? We'll get the slays. We have to trust in our boys to make the slays. Snaky and Flux across the map, they get a kill. And before Infused even knew it, the flag was back in there, you know, it was back in the Beaver's base. I love saying that. I
saw your eyes light up. I could see the words ticking over, and you were just looking forward to finishing your own sentence. It was a beautiful thing.
Beaver's base.
The Beaver's base.
It's like a dam. It's like a wooden dam filled with logs.
I just find it weird how it's like this Infused squad are playing so passive and scared. Like, don't get me wrong, there was a couple of moments in that game we thought they were kind of like getting used to the whole how they're actually playing in comparison to before. But what I find quite strange now is the fact that, you know, they're hiding, they're scared, they're going in 1 by 1, their counter-attacks aren't working out, mainly because of the fact that their team coordination seems to be really dire at the moment. But with Snipedrone in his movement at the moment, like, that's why he's one of the biggest damage dealers in Europe, and I've always rated him as a top 5 player. He's the sort of guy right now who's really showing his qualities at the moment.
For me, personally, I watched that Infused performance there. For me, it seems like they're not happy to give away a death for the better of the team. It seems like the amount of times they would get kills in that base, they would pick up all the slates they need to, had 3 dead, 1 player respawning on bubble, and they wouldn't get the flag past halfway. Like, for me, that's not good enough. I mean, I'm going to say it right now. If you're getting 3 or 4 dead on a team and you're not in control of the map and you can't assume map control, that's a worrying situation for me.
And the plays that you were just talking about that it seemed like Infused weren't making, Snipedrone made earlier on in the game. That I praised him for pushing back and clearing out his own base. for him to get that kill early and trusting his teammates to make players weak in his own base, completely stopped a flag run, and that kind of stilted Infused. Honestly think Infused expected that flag run to be a bit easier than it was, but Snipedrone's decision-making to push back from his own bubble, we all know how tempting it is to overextend when you spawn there, but he pushed back into his own base, gets that kill, he stops that flag run dead right there and then, gives his teammates time to spawn up, get in position, and that's something that Infused really struggled with in that game.
Yeah, it's just quite interesting how the fact that with players like Snipedrone, like, you know, I've always rated him one of the top 5 players, but it seems to be fitting in. I think he's playing more his role at the moment, and I think Flux having a break as well. We've always known he's been a good slayer, but like in previous rounds, especially this one, he's been playing really well. But also with Rami, he's talking about blocking Carbine, he's like going in sync with Flux, but you've got to remember, Flux and Rami are 2 IGLs, and I think they've both obviously come with their strategies together, and it actually shows exactly what they can come up with at the moment.
Well, we do have some replays, of course, from that game number 1. It was Beaver who managed to take the game 3-1, and they seem like the anti-Infused squad at the moment. Talk me through what you're seeing here, gentlemen.
Well, that again,
oh no, Kimbo, sorry. Did we have to show that, guys?
It's one of those. Listen, it happens to me all the time when I'm playing Halo 5. You whack them in the back, and then they turn around and give you the whack right back. It's like, what are you supposed to do? But the perfect we saw from Flux at the start of these replays is, again, another one of those situations where when you have players flanking your own basement, this was such a key return, by the way, essentially won them the game with this camouflage. Considering they didn't have numbers, Infused actually had a number up on the Beaver squad, and they just come along and somehow, you know, still get that return. That's a key play from Flux, but again, the perfect we saw on Jimbo early on. When you have players flanking basement like Infused likes to do, I said they've been working on scrims recently this week, trying to do that, trying to push into basement and flank around, get behind the enemy team. When you get elevation, when you get in that car attic, you get in the pink attic, when you're flanking basement, you jump up, you're thinking, hey, there's going to be guys flagged. They're going to be car door, they're going to be pink door, right? You kind of don't expect them to be up in that carbine attic, and that's something that Flux did very well right there. That time he was in pink attic, but we saw previously as well, he was in the carbine attic, and it just worked to perfection. They've clearly kind of counter-stratted Team Infused right there.
Well, there is the series layout. As you can see, Truth CTF going to the hands of Beaver. 3-1. Ramirez and the boys go up 1-0 in the series. Of course, they only have to win this one best of 7 to take first place in this cup. But game number 2, gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about this. It's getting underway in the background. Regret Slayer. What are you looking to see from both these teams?
So obviously the Overshield, if you don't know by now, spawns bottom middle every 2 minutes. We're going to see a frantic start of this game. A lot of team firing happening while that power-up is being contested. Once you grab it or it's burnt by either team, you want to get up high as soon as possible. Get that elevation advantage on the enemy team. Grab that plasma caster, obviously Assault Rifle you're seeing on screen right now, no longer in the game. I think we're all very thankful for that. But that's what you're going to see at the start of this game. A lot of team fire right here, and then you're going to try and get elevation as soon as possible.
Very interesting to see who can take advantage of this start. Ramirez picks up such an important kill. Flux is going to have a free run here as Snipedrone picks up another kill. There's a one-shot down on P1. Snipedrone cleans that one up as well. And this is going to be 4 dead off the start. A 4-for-1 trade here. Flux's overshield does get burnt, but he's going to be pushing aggressively straight away on Mose. Mose gets taken down by Flux. What a start here from Beaver.
I think you called it perfectly. I mean, we saw on Flux's POV, he had a free grab, but Ramirez's P1 flank, getting that first kill and then immediately being a thorn in the side of Infused, they just didn't expect it. We saw on Flux's POV, carbine shots, team fire going across bottom middle, as we would expect to see here on Regret. We're seeing Infused right now catch up, but Ramirez's flank at the start of the game, definitely the key to the early kills here for Beaver.
You know, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest due to the fact that with Truth it's an open map, and it is one of those maps where actually I thought Beaver was actually be just as good on this one compared to Regret, but it is going to be a slow start to begin with. And what happened was earlier, but when they managed to get Carbine back, no problem. And after that, Snake gives some 6 shots. And then it looks like now they could be turning the tables here again.
Yeah, one thing to definitely point out, if you're out shooting Kimbo, you are definitely hitting your shot. Snakey's starting to heat up right now, taking down Respectful. He's going to find Kimbo. It's going to be battle of Kimbo versus Snakey number 2. Is Snakey going to take it again? Backs Kimbo down. Looks like Kimbo is more than aware of Snakey being on fire right now. He decides not to challenge this one. The grenade does come in, takes on Jimbo. Jimbo finishes his kill off. Have to give credit to Kimbo though. Manages to stay alive in that situation. Jimbo comes in to help his teammate out. And the score, look at this, now a turnaround. Team Infused are going to be up 12-9 as Respectful helps out Jimbo. Fantastic grenade as well. Snakey going to be caught on the respawn here. Jimbo pushing aggressively across the car side of the map. Respectful going to pick up a back smack here, clean out that blue base. Now going to have them on that spawn trap over in red.
Yeah, smart play from Kimbo backing down, really allowing Infused right back into this game, honestly. Worth noting, of course, Snakey was teaming with Kimbo and Respectful on that Infused team that didn't do as well at DreamHack Atlanta as they would have wanted, but also won the regular season of the Summer Pro League. But wow, I mean, this is really starting to heat up. The camouflage, the Overshield is coming up right now. It's going to be Flux with 2 in a row for a Rate Beaver. His objective right now, first of all, don't get melted in the back, but second of all, try and chip away at this 6-kill advantage for Team Infused and let your teammates try and get back into the game with the opportunities you're creating with this added bit of shields.
Yeah, it looks like Flux desperately needed this overshield. It seems like their team shot at the moment is lacking in some ways due to some of their teammates' positioning. And it seems like even after Flux had the overshield, it's now depleted. And Infused still managed to kill 2 or 3 of them whilst having full setup. And it looks like we're seeing the old Infused, which we all know and love at the moment.
Yeah, big kill swing in this game. Flux picking up the second overshield, but look at the score, 22-13. Even without 2 of those overshields, Respectful's found himself a plasma caster, absolutely laying down those blasts into that carbine area, trying to push anyone off. It's going to be Ramirez who's up on the top of car. Kimbo going to be his adversary the other side of it. Kimbo picks up a big double kill in the kill feed, 24-15. A few kills are being clawed back. Snipe drone starting to heat up a little bit. Respectful using that plasma caster just to ward off any players who might be pushing him. He is going to be called out, but he knows if anyone drops on him, he is going to have that weapon advantage. So you have to give credit to Respectful here. Valuing his life so impressively. And look at this, he's going to be coming behind Snipe Drone now. Mose does trade that one out. 26-19, a 7-kill game right now.
Yeah, 30 seconds on until the next Overshield fight. So both teams at the moment going to be fighting at the top of the map. I want to stay on board with Respectful actually, because for a long period of his life right there, he was actually hanging around down low and letting his teammates force players to drop down who were weak, and he was almost acting like a Hoover, picking up any of the crumbs that were being dropped off the table. And how often do we talk about height advantage being so key here on this map? Respectful doing the complete opposite, and it was working out.
It's quite interesting now because Rate Beaver basically had both overshields and they're still down by 9 kills. A fantastic kill by Respect. And it looks like overshield will be coming up in the next 10 seconds. So at some point, as well as keeping full setup, and they have to drop down a couple of people and maybe even get a couple dead before even go for it. But it looks like right now Flux is waiting for his 3rd overshield.
Look at this, if he can get this 3rd one in a row, there might be an opportunity here, but no, Mose is going to run in front of him and steal that one away. He's going to be absolutely melted bottom middle. 4-kill swing there, and the overshield going into the hands of Mose. And we talked about how aggressive he could be. If he could stay alive here, stay alive. Do not challenge Ramirez. Your teammate is there. Respectful finishes that one off. Once again, Mose with that overshield, creating opportunities for his team.
This game's over. I mean, look at the score, 40-28. What was Flux doing? Did he just forget about the time on that overshield? I mean, he was like, yeah, overshield's going to be up soon. Ah, but 2 of my teammates are dead. But, oh, let me just check this corner. Oh, Mose is here. Oh, he's got it. Lads, I messed up. I just don't know how Mose steals that away. That's just superior teamwork. Definitely Coach Havoc coming into play there for Team Infused, allowing Mose to get the exact timing on that, coming in and grabbing that, stealing that overshield away, which in my opinion was the only route back into this game for the lads on a Rate Beaver.
Yeah, with a Rate Beaver as well, you know, when you get the first 2 overshields, I'd assume it would be even kills, at least a bit of a lead, but they were 10 kills down. And now Infused have actually got the overshield, they've just increased their lead massively now. So now it's going to be interesting to see how they're actually going to come out from this. But it looks like Rate Beaver's literally got full control at the moment, trying to actually pin off one way or another, but Jimbo's having absolutely none of it at the moment. Managed to get a pick and hopefully be able to push out.
Yeah, I think at this point there's no chance here for the guys on the red squad to get back into this one. Start the car. This game's over. 45-30, a 15-kill swing. Ramirez is sitting top mid at the moment. Kimbo going to pick up one more. Jimbo playing this one nice and patiently. Look at that. Respectful responding to those call-out from Jimbo. Another play here. It's going to be Snaky. Can he finish this one? No, he can't, but just 2 kills to go. This one's all she wrote, gents.
Yeah, Respectful's having a big game too. I mean, I'm pretty sure his deaths will be minimal, but every single time I see in the kill feed and this Infused starting to strike is him chiming in with slays. 50-32, the final score. You have to wonder, I mean, if Flux gets that 3rd overshield, I mean, what happens right there? I mean, sure enough, Mose and the boys, they just killed 2 of Flux's teammates. They're gonna obviously melt him straight away, but you have to make that play if you're Flux. You can't look away. You can't second guess yourself. And you know what happened? He flip-flopped.
Nice. You've been waiting for that. And you know what?
Flip-flop it.
It was worth it.
You can't flip-flop on regret because you'll lose the overshield and then lose the game. And that's what happened.
Well, something to point out there from the stats. I mean, Jimbo was involved in 31 kills, I believe there. I think he had 16 kills, 15 assists, something like that. 15 kills, 16 assists. My eyes good enough there that I can see it?
I don't know.
I mean, the blindest desk you've ever seen in your life. But
you were talking about before as well, when you're talking about the actual third overshield. They had a 10-kill lead, and they've had 2 of the overshields. So it's like, would a third one really make much of a difference? Because the way they were playing, like, you know, yeah, sure, it's been aggressive with the overshield, but his teammates weren't really following him or actually having full setup at the time. So, okay, third overshield made well, you could have said clawed back eventually, but I don't think would have made too much of a difference because they were so hot going into the game.
Speaking of hot, my foot's actually getting pretty cold, so I'm going to put this back on.
Just a quick, honest question to you. Have you taken the term smart casual too literally here?
What are you talking about?
I mean, do you know what? We'll leave it. But game number 3, let's move forward.
Trying to tell me that skinny jeans and flip-flops is not fashion.
I'm just... you know what, man? Sometimes you put words in my mouth. That's all I can say. But game number 3 is going to be Strongholds on the rig. Let's leave that battering to the side right now. Infused looking good, tied up 1-1 in the series. Let's talk about Strongholds rig. Very control-based game type. Been a long day. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm the epitome of fashion. So don't,
Okay.
don't even try and come at me, bro. I like Irate Beaver's chances on this. I mean, we've said before, you keep smiling every time I say the names.
Because I know you're wearing flip-flops with a button up. I mean...
What are you... Listen, this is called hipster...
Chic.
Modern, chic, 2017 collection.
It's a younger generation, I think, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, we're getting old. Do you know what it is, mate? We're getting old.
I think so, yeah.
Let's laugh, but
we talk about Halo?
Being serious, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yeah, honestly, I like the chances of Irate Beaver on this map.
You can't. Sorry. I will keep it together soon. I can't. It's just...
We call him something else.
Just call him Beaver.
Ramirez's squad.
I prefer Beaver now.
We can't have...
Right, Beaver. Yeah, I'll keep a straight face. Don't worry. It's fine. Here we go. Deep breath.
Irate Beaver, honestly, I rate their chances on this map. You laughed again.
I didn't. I just smiled.
This team's chance on this map, honestly, solely relies on Flux moving more into that Slayer role, like we've spoken about him doing, and also Ramirez relying on his play calling. Right? I mean, we've seen in the past on teams like the team Invictus that went over to DreamHack. They had a lot of success here on this map against other European teams. Be interesting to see if that still comes into play. Infused are a team full of Slayers, and this is one of the game types where if your objective work isn't on point, you can get away with sloppy objective work with your Slays. So it's going to be a battle of brains versus brawn, if you will, in this map. The brains being Ramirez and the brawns being the slaying ability of Team Infused.
I think with these two teams at the moment, since they're quite new, they're using more like their subconsciousness rather than actually using too many strats. Well, obviously, as you know, with Empire Strikers, you have 2 outside, 1 at tower, 1 maybe through just depending on the situation where they push. But what you've got to remember is the fact that with
It's Rig Stronghold.
Oh, because, sorry, Rick Strong was as I was talking about Empire the entire time. It's fantastic.
Empire's a good one. I like that game.
But no, with Rick Strongholds as well, it's going to be quite hard for him because if they have the equal aggression to what they had in the true CTF game, then it would have been perfectly fine. But after last game, because I thought it was going to be quite an open map, I thought actually Beaver were actually going to probably take that. But it's going to be quite interesting now because I know players like Snake in that are really good at Rig, but how they played last game, I hope it doesn't affect their mentality too much. Yeah,
I'm looking at some of the slower players on this Infused lineup and the Beavers squad to be sort of the linchpins for their team on this. We see Kimbo's puts up some really impressive stats on this sort of map. He can hold that top tower area, playing that almost Royal 2 role, that sort of turret-style role, controlling the spawns, being on top of the respawners. If they can get 2 or 3 dead, it's always very dangerous against this Infused squad. They have that slaying power, as you said, to keep people on respawn. I think it's a case of maybe just playing for kills a little bit when they are down for this Beavers team if they want to have any success. But for me, I feel like Infused might be the stronger suit on this one.
Yeah, I am leaning towards Infused. I've seen them in scrims on Jimbo stream on this game type before, and they've held triple caps when it's been like 40 points to 0, and I was just saying to myself, hey, this game's over, and they might sacrifice 1 stronghold. You might get 1 stronghold back from them, but they're never at a numbers disadvantage that you can get more than 1 stronghold back, and that just opens up the lead so much more when they continue to have control and keep going toe-to-toe in slays with you. It's impossible to get a foothold back in the game here on Rig. So Infused, they can even focus more on slaying than the objective and still win this game, in my opinion.
If it was Empire Strongholds, I would have said it wouldn't be an even match.
When it gets to it, mate, I'll bet straight to you. Our resident Strongholds expert.
Yeah, you can say that.
Only on one particular map.
But yeah, it's just like with this Infused squad, they're known so well for their spawn trapping ability, especially when they're kind of getting pinned down in bunkers. So, you know, Rig Strongholds, this is kind of like one of their maps. I know like Plaza is one of the best maps and game types just in general, but with Rig Strongholds, they've been known for like trapping you in bunker, not letting you get away at all, and obviously Reflexo when they rotate to carbine. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Infused do take this if they play how live they did last game.
I always enjoy watching these European squads go up against each other when it comes to Strongholds game types, because when we've seen them go over the pond, gone to America, they've always kept it close in the Slayers. It always seems to be close in those CTF games. But when it gets to Strongholds, it just seems to be, yeah, I think you do that again? Exactly, that's almost the camo cam noise. But that does seem to be the case. There seems to be such a gulf in class between the two continents on this particular game type. I mean, what do you think that is attributed to?
It's a good question. It still comes down, in my opinion, to European teams, that millisecond hesitation. And one thing we always see about North American teams, like I said before, on maps like Rig, you can really get away with more proficient slaying and focusing more on slaying than the objective. And when you think North America as a continent is better overall individually than Europe anyway and have stronger slayers naturally the Strongholds games are going to go their way as well. But I also think that millisecond hesitation, that slight lack of coherent decision making and being assertive on the map really lacks EU's potential on Strongholds maps.
I think it's that NA strategic aggression. I've spoken about this a lot in the past, and it seems like, you know, Supremacy had that at the World Championships. They had that strategic aggression, but they never had the slaying power and the speed to actually do it. But you saw like a glimmer of hope how they can actually do that. But, you know, these NA squads are quite far ahead in terms of that. But this Infused squad, like I said, you know, they're quite new. They're still like trying to get used to each other. They've teamed each other before, but it depends on the situation how this match goes.
Very, very interesting. Well, for everyone at home, we will get the game with you as soon as we possibly can. We know that we've got a little bit of a wait, as we say. Relax.
Like, start the game.
It's getting late, you know. No, we know. Basically, the teams are just sorting out some of the siding at the moment. One blue team, one red team. Can't quite get that nailed right now. Always been the same in Halo, hasn't it, though?
Tough concept.
Always been the same. Red and blue. Do you know what? We've even highlighted the beautiful Gfinity stage to help them out.
Why am I blue side? Like I'm not going to be higher seed. Like, what is this?
Because we all know what happened, Harry. Have I just called you out? I think I have.
Interesting. We'll come back to that.
1v1. Hey, Halo 3. No.
No?
You would
anyway,
say
moving on.
Yeah.
Halo 4, do you know what? You can have a win. I'll do a shady, I'll just quit.
Too soon, dude. You're probably Goose
soon.
as well.
Too soon.
Looks like the sides have been figured out.
Oh, good.
Not too sure why they flipped. Because Infused before, they were blue team, and now
yeah, I
they're
think
red
there was when it gets to the final, there's a thing where they can change.
Oh, okay.
I think they can choose sides, maybe. Yeah.
So that is going to be the situation. I think Infused are used to being on the red side.
We eSports now.
We eSports. You know what? We are on top of things right now.
Yeah. Side choices? What is this?
You know what? All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So both teams have 4 players on, and the game is getting underway, gentlemen.
Nice.
It's going to be Strongholds on the rig. Sorry, Harry.
It's all
you know,
right.
it'll come Empire one day. But Strongholds on the rig is going to be our next game. The series is, of course, tied up at 1-1. As you can see the series layout on your screen. Beaver taking the first game. Truth capture the flag 3-1. Infused answering back with a dominant performance on Regret Slayer 50-32. This next game type, for me, I can see this being a bit of a swing game type. It's getting late over here in Europe. You know, we're approaching midnight now, this tournament. I feel like whoever wins this one could have momentum.
It's getting late here. Think about what it's like in Europe. And don't forget, Moz, Kimbo, they're on that mainland European time zone. I think they're 2 hours ahead now. So, you know, it's getting pretty late over there. So if you're Infused, obviously you want to be winning this tournament. Don't forget, if they win this best of 7, they've got to play another best of 7.
Oh,
so
yeah, baby.
That's going to play into the mindset of them going forwards. But anyway, back to this game. Key kind of fights at the start, making sure players don't get the railgun like Moz was just shut down there, and also making sure players like Jimbo don't escape with the camouflage. Jimbo picked it up, he was taken down. Looks like Scattershot goes into the hands of Infused, which helps them out, but not too sure where railgun went.
That was really uncharacteristic of Moz. It's like, you know, him, the sort of guy just to try and pick a railgun, not pick up, and then drop to your death. like, I find that quite unusual because Mose is a very aggressive player. You never really see him in any kind of like scared state. Like, you know, one of those no fear players where he'll just go into you no matter what kind of situation you're in. But so far, dropping that railgun, like, you know, it's not really been too good for Mose, but it looks like Kimbo's got it already with the scout shot.
Yeah, this is a moment if you're a Rate Beaver, you need to watch your P's and Q's and make sure you're getting those kills. Jimbo goes flying through the air, 2 kills from them, but with Kimbo with both scatter and rail, he can do damage at long range and close range. He's actually going to drop one of those off to his teammates, but fair enough, at the moment a Rate Beaver have those 2 strongholds, but with those power weapons in possession, Kimbo can start going for strongholds right here. Great shots on Flux, but you have to worry about the slaying coming out of a Rate Beaver. Interestingly enough, Kimbo dropped the scatter thinking his teammate would spawn there. It's actually Ramirez here from a Rate Beaver who picked that one up. Slight misplay there from Kimbo, but he will make up for it with a railgun kill there on Sniper.
I was just about to say, Harry, oh no, Kimbo said so. Brandon said something to Kimbo there because Kimbo decided to leave a little present on his foot.
Where's my money, Brand?
But he basically got taken out, and it is actually total control now going into the hands of Infused momentarily. It's going to be the blue squad who do manage to get control of that BR base, but once again, 2 kills going down. Make it 3 as Kimbo lands the railgun. Going to be pushing immediately on. This is what I want to see from this squad. Immediately putting on the pressure. But look, once again, Kimbo not pushing straight on that stronghold. It's Snipe Drone who's still alive. They do get the triple cap, but they haven't cleared out this bunker.
This is a really worrying moment here for the Beaver squad because you can see Snipe Drone there trying to milk, trying to play his life as long as possible. All Infused need to do right now, worry about power weapons, worry about power-ups, worry about those slays. That's something they do so well. We spoke about them being a great slayer team, great kind of possession of the power weapons here so far. Jimbo just picked up the new rail. Kimbo here still using that scatter, and Mose with the new camouflage is going to help them out. That's another slay going their way. This is what I was talking about in the pregame. You never see them lose more than 1 stronghold at a time when they're outslaying the other team. Obviously, that's naturally going to happen. But this is about to be another triple cap here momentarily from Team Infused just by them controlling the power weapons and getting those kills.
This is exactly what I was talking about before with the fact that all they do is hold Whitehall, hold mid, and they'll constantly rotate the spawns left, right, and centre from bunker to carbine and vice versa. And so far, they've done it for the last minute or 2, and it seems like they've got absolutely no answer. They're going in one at a time. They're trying to get a hill on their own. It seems like their comms and communication, just in general, just seems to be all over the place right now. And at the moment, Jimbo is still right now trying to get the BR base back. And it looks like you're right, Harry, in terms of trying to get those points on the board.
Yeah, and look at this. I mean, the blue squad at the moment, they are just split on respawns at the moment. This morning, 2 and 2 as the guys from Infused just keep picking up those rotations. Flux picks up a big kill on Mose though to get him off that back rail area. Jimbo going to move towards his teammates as they secure that basement, and I think every single railgun so far has gone to the hands of Infused. Jimbo picks up a double kill, looking for the triple, lands that headshot for the triple kill. Jimbo's starting to make things happen for his squad right now, but look at this. Of course, a Rate Beaver, all this going on, Jimbo picking up triple kills. They have managed to get control, but it looks like Brandon Respectful is going to get back that nest stronghold. And look at this, Kimbo once again with the power weapons and the railgun.
This all started off by a big double from Flux on the Beaver squad. They got kind of control momentarily, but the instant reply from Jimbo, that triple so big and swinging the momentum back, and this is what we were talking about. You touched upon it momentarily, Harry. But them getting those slays and making sure they're pushing out and pushing as a team, getting those slays together makes it near impossible for you to get more than 1 stronghold at a time when you do get those slays. So you can see right now, 64 to 23. Fair enough, they've held a double cap for the majority. They had a good spell of possession with their triple, but the total control really hasn't come into play for them. It's just them getting those slays and making sure they're on point with the power weapons. Jimbo here with the scatter in his back pocket, Kimbo with the railgun, and this power up control here as well. Kimbo now with camo rail on the map.
They're literally giving absolutely nothing away. We have camo, the last 2 rails, last 2 scan shots, possibly 3, I think. And so far, this is the Infused squad we all know. We all know what they're like with the power weapons. We all know what it's going to control in terms of rig. I did say this before, that if they play like this in regret compared to rig strongholds, you know, it's going to be potentially another walkover. But it looks like they're not giving them any space to breathe. It seems they're all going in one at a time. Rami, again, just making a clear example of this. But they're trying to get Nest back, and it looks like they won't with Kimbo, with the rail and the camo.
I think the key, honestly, with Infused playing so well on this map is using pivot points on the map. We saw Kimbo when he was in kind of trench, another triple cap, by the way, coming in from Team Infused. When he was in trench, he had an opportunity. Does he go BR base, help his teammate out? Jimbo was in BR base trying to capture that. Kimbo could have jumped in and helped him, but Jim said, nah, don't worry, man, there's no pressure on me right here. Go to another pivot point on the map. He goes to white corner, that particular spot, and was able to stop the players pushing out who had just captured the basement over towards the nest. And that's why Infused are so formidable on this map. Look at this score, 23-25. This game is almost over. Look at those red outlines flooding towards that basement.
I've got to say right now, this has been a game of power weapons, and there has only been one winner. The guys in Infused have had every single railgun, pretty much every single camo, and give them a scatter shot to boot. It's going to be so difficult for a Beaver to pick up any sort of control or any sort of kills on this map. Mose is going to be potentially taken down here by Snipe Drone. They do manage to get one on the board, but at the score as it is, they're just 5 points away. But we have seen crazier comebacks on this map, especially on a strongholds-like game type. Snipe Drone's going to be moving around the carbine here, but he's got to push towards this basement potentially, but they do manage to get double cap, and Snipe Drone is going to have a cheeky little flank on here.
Yeah, but all Snipe Drone has to do is stay alive right there. All 4 down from a Raid Beaver. That's got to be the game. Kimbo is going to push the nest, so even if they grab the basement away from them, they're going to have that second stronghold in their possession. They're going to capture this. They're going to tick away their last 2 points, and Infused, they will win the map, and that was a clinic on how to slay and control power weapons and power-ups there on the rig. Not even close, 100-41. Infused, they're right back in this series. They lead it now.
Just another day of matchmaking for that game, wasn't it?
I was going to say, that literally looked like a game of matchmaking there for Team Infused. We can see the stats on your screen at home. Jimbo, massive performance from him, 18-6. Kimbo, 17-4. And I would like to see how many power weapon kills that man had as well. 9 power weapon kills for Kimbo. Pretty simple thing for a Root Beaver to work on. Keep the railgun out of their hands, boys.
He was shooting 72, man. He was shooting 71 accuracy. That's crazy. But what's also notable about Jimbo's 18 kills, whatever he had, most in the game, also had 10 captures.
Yeah.
Most in the game, most on his team, most by far. That's a really strong performance by Jimbo. Obviously, Kimbo did a great job opening opportunities up for Jim to make those plays, get those kills, get those captures by controlling the power weapons, but take nothing away from the performance from Jimbo right there. That was a clinic. That was so well played from Infused, and they're right back in this series.
Kimbo with 2,600 shots dealt. That's absolutely crazy. And that's like literally about 30-40% more than any other person.
Yeah.
And I've also said it before in the past that Kimbo is quite a stat on this team, on this lineup, just in general. But it really proves it. If his movement's that good and he's firing that much more compared to everyone else, I'm not surprised. And it's like you pointed out before, 71% hit accuracy? That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I think we talked about, I mentioned before, how Kimbo can be such an influence on that map. If you give him power weapon control, he's such a good player at finding those power positions on the map and putting them to use. Some players you see, yeah, they steal away with a railgun, they might get a kill or two, they might trade it out, but Kimbo's so good at keeping that in his possession and putting it to use.
Yeah, very good point. You say there's power positions. I mean, look at the pivot points right here. When he's sitting here, he can look at Nest, he can rotate back to Whitehall. When he's sitting here, he can go to BR base, he can go to Whitehall, get control there. When he's in that long haul area, he could drop down the basement, get that. Obviously, kind of secure right there in the basement, excuse me. But again, the pivot points here from Infused, easy rotations, lovely triple from Jim that basically broke the spell of possession and stopped any form of momentum the Beaver squad was getting. But I mean, it's just a tale of great power weapon control and power position control from the lads on Team Infused, because like I said before, there's no other words for it. It was a clinic on Rig Strongholds.
The problem with Rig is the fact that when you're first person live after being spawn traps like that, you should instantly say, right, when you spawn, focus on this person or this person. But it seems like whoever would spawn first or second wouldn't actually say anything. They would literally, as soon as they get shot, they'll just probably dive down into one of the spawning bunker or throw a carbine, they just dive in basement, hopefully to get some random lucky cap. And you're not going to get that against Infused. Infused will be on your case. And if they got Camel, Rayo and Scatter, then yeah, you're definitely not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, I was watching those highlights there as we saw just that little replay package, and it seemed like every single kill that Kimbo got, scatter shot or railgun. And the only time he didn't have it, well, Jimbo's getting a triple with it. So, you know.
It's fairly easy to shoot 70% accuracy when you have a power weapon railgun scatter shot in your hands. Game 4 in this series. Coliseum captured the flag, and Infused, when we saw them in the first game of the stream, for those of you who weren't here for it.
Just remind me, Harry, just refresh my memory, please, exactly what happened. Exactly what happened.
How does 3 caps in 3 minutes with a goose on the other team sound?
Sounds marvellous.
Disgusting, if I'm honest.
Disgusting, exactly.
Revolting.
Revolting is the word, but
it's worrying now. These next 2 game types, it just has Infused all over it. But it's quite worrying to that point, though.
We have seen on this map, Ramirez back on the Invictus squad, make real plays for his team. So you don't need to give up the goose, as it were, for if you're the Beaver squad right now. You still have a chance of winning this series. Obviously, you only need to win the one best of 7. That's going to be their goal right now. I feel like at the moment, if Infused reset the bracket and they get to that second best of 7 here in this grand finals, I think they take it in a very easy fashion. So this is a really key pivot, swing game, whatever you want to call it, in this series. Coliseum captured the flag, something we didn't get to analyze too much in the first game of this series. How we're seeing a lot more of the elbow runs now. We're starting to see teams identify that if you're blocking that elbow spawn, it's actually a very legitimate route to run. Early on in Halo 5, players really didn't like pushing down there because you wouldn't have the height advantage if you were running that flag. Jimbo gets the rockets, Kimbo gets the snipe. It's the tale of the power weapons again here for Team Infused.
And Kimbo did work with that railgun in the last game that we saw. Let's see if he can do it with this precision weapon as well. Just playing this one nice and slowly at the moment. Looks like snipe control is in the hands of a Beaver. He's going to try and land this shot here on Snipe Drone. Does body him. Can he clean this one up? Does manage to take down Snipe Drone. Like what I'm seeing here, but that's actually rotated back. Would like to see him push up and maybe try and look for a few spawn kills here, because this is one thing about Kimbo. Very good player with the sniper rifle, hits a lot of shots. But I don't like what I'm seeing here as far as aggression is concerned. Picked off 2 kills. He had the opportunity to push up. I know he may have heard call-outs from his teammates, but there were 3 of them back there in a 3v2 situation. He has to allow his teammates to pick up those kills, put trust in his teammates, and maybe look to push up.
Yeah, hard to really dissect the play right there from Kimbo without the communication, like you said, Mark. I mean, in my opinion, I think he was kind of making the right play. We talked about before pivot points on the map. He had snipe when you're rotating between 2 Royal, 2 spots on the map. You can either go back and help your teammates at the base, or you can push forward and look for those spawners. I think Kimbo was kind of caught in 2 minds. He was just holding that pyramid area. He could have pushed up, looked for spawners, could have pushed back, helped his team, but in the end, he really did neither. So very indecisive play there from Kimbo. Hard to tell the play right there without the communication from Infused. Maybe he got the call that everything was fine and didn't want to push up by himself with that snipe. But again, this is what we were talking about in the pregame. European teams starting to realize now, if you push up from elbow, there's no one there. You can start running the flag this way, but you are very susceptible to that counter cap up top as well. So look out for Infused here, trying to get some slays. Oh, Mose, what is that?
It was really worrying at one point because of the fact that even though Snake had rockets, it seems like it's so hard and so difficult to even get Infused off Snipe Tower. And as I say, they've even got the flag there, baiting it just to try and make some sort of decision. But as you can see now, Respectful's doing a good job just then trying to actually wait around with the flag, but sadly does get taken down. And with Jimbo just losing rockets, now finally 2 dead, 3 dead now, and they could possibly pick up and get the return.
That was such an unfortunate situation there for Infused. Respectful got that flag all the way back to his fountain, managed to hit a plasma grenade and blow those rockets back to Jimbo, who got him in his hands. However, a fantastic play coming in from a Beaver. They managed to get that return. And look at this, the first flag cap of the game is going to go into the hands of the blue squad. They somehow managed to get away with that one. Brandon's going to be a little bit annoyed, you can probably imagine. He tried to do everything for his team right there, but they will capitalise on. Team Infused are going to find themselves 1-0 down. Yeah,
Slay's coming in here then from here. Excuse me. Slay's coming in here from them as well, from a Raid Beaver. Snaky, no shields, no problem. Puts the second flag capture in, and wow, this is escalated quickly. Flux still slaying in the Infused base. They have no time to breathe. Ramirez and Snipe Drone again working in tandem, and this flag again is on the move. Right now, Infused, they're on stilted spawns. They're not helping each other. Finally, some teamwork comes in to take down the player trying to kill his teammate, but a counter slay, a trade coming in from a Raid Beaver. There's essentially the first kill, a second kill coming in too.
3 dead.
This game is all over if Kimbo can't get this flag out, which he does. He needs to throw this bridge, and whoever that is, Jimbo, he needs to bait this flag. He has to stay here, make sure a return doesn't come in, allow his players to push up, but at the moment, it looks like they're just going to give up eyes on the flag, and that big touch! The return, that's a huge touch, but again a return coming in. Who's left in the base? I think it's going to be Ramirez. No, he's coming off the spawn. Who is there alive? Players coming off the spawn. I think it is going to be Snipe Drone.
But they get the return!
Comes in. What a hero play from Jimbo, getting that flag out in the first place, then the touch to keep it alive. Game saver. Now they have to get back in this game. They're going to be shook up right now, but they absolutely have to make sure they get a foothold back on the map. The first objective for them, get those rockets. They've just come up on the map. If they can get those, which they don't, as Snaky picks them up, they could be in for a world of hurt as 3 of Infused go down.
I'm just not too sure. I think at the time, I think their comms were just a little bit weak in terms of like who should actually be going for the flag. And it seems like they actually had a bad spawn cycle as well. But with Snake and the rockets now, it seems that they are trying to get rid of the sniper tower, but we've always said, you know, in the past, it's really difficult no matter what weapons you have to get any of Infused off sniper tower now and then. But, you know, I have to apologise to this Raid Beaver squad because of the fact that I thought there's going to be a walkover by Infused to actually take these guys out at Coliseum, CTF and Plaza, but, you know, they're eating my words at the moment, so great play by them so far.
Snaky not quite managing to land his jump into the plasma grenades there. Did get taken down with the rockets, but did a good job of buying his team some time and picking up some kills. Kimbo set up on the Royal 2 spot here. But no, Ramirez with a sneaky back smack, and that's going to turn the sniper rifle over into the hands of the blue squad. Looks like the guys on Team Infused have managed to get a pull away, though. Brandon doing a great job of making all of those players come back and clear them out of the base. If they did not do that, he would have been shooting them all in the back as they went for return. Ramirez is going to be baited here by Kimbo. If they can manage to take Snipe down out that window, the touch does come in. Kimbo's being a human shield here. Flux does manage to take down one player, but there is going to be a player in the base. Respectful's going to run this one home, though. And that's going to be the first flag on the board here for Team Infused. Just a one-cap game and a stick coming in from Mose. Make that a triple kill from Mose. That's huge plays from him.
Yeah, that is a huge triple. That's going to get them back into Sniper Tower. They only have one player to contend with right here, but I'm really, really interested in Team Infused communication because when we saw Kimbo was going for that touch, obviously he killed Ramirez, thought he had to make a play on the flag. Surely he should have seen Jimbo coming up from trench and Jimbo would have said, my flag, my flag. Some form of communication right there is definitely needed from Infused. So nice double from Jimbo, but you have to worry about the communication here from Team Infused.
Yeah, it's just weird because of the fact that it seems like they're jumping out whenever they feel like on no shield, and they should be hiding, wait for a next teammate to actually come past. Normally you have about 3 at snipe anyway, but I just find it so weird how now, like, when they're one shot or one shot down, if another, should be dropping grass, should be going bottom mid, maybe going back S3. But I just find it strange how now they're just jumping out, like, for absolutely no reason at all. But now it looks like their coordination does seem a little bit flimsy right now, but it seems like at the moment they're trying to pick it back up.
So we talk about the 6-minute mark being a very key point in the game because both the rockets and snipe come up. Kimbo had the rockets, he was taken down. But you can see a 1v1 here briefly on the map, Ramirez versus Jimbo, and look at this. I love this play. Get those power weapons back to your side of the map, drop one off to a teammate, he'll take Ramirez down, and now sure about that. Why don't you run backwards right there and drop those weapons back? Luckily, Mose will salvage one of them, but wow, he was very, very lucky that Mose was right there to grab both weapons. This is where I want to see him just drop one of these off, get them to a teammate, or hey, why not make a play for yourself? This is basically EU Halo all over right here. Now you're going to lose both rockets and snipe at the end of the base. You have to look for your teammates to get the saves, which luckily for them they do, but you still have to worry about those power weapons in the Beaver base. And watch out, Kimbo. Snipe drone.
Oh no!
For us, there's some very suspect shots right there from Kimbo.
I was going to say, Kimbo just whiffing that backsmack allowed Snipe Drone to put that flag carrier to no shields. The respawner then managed to clean that up, so that momentary backsmack mix might have actually cost them a cap, but Flux, he's going to have the chance here to push on the Infused base. The stick does come in, but it is not good. Ramirez cleans that kill up. Snaky picks up one of them respectful, and look at this, Ramirez immediately looking for that objective.
Yeah. I find it really interesting with Infused as well. I did love exactly how their defense setup was working. They're all in the right place, but it seems like this Beaver squad didn't really care what kind of setup they had, and then it just went straight in and trying to get a flag pull. But it looks like now, with Snipe Drone just finishing taking him off, he'll get that return now. And it looks like he's going to be possibly a capture now.
Respectful does come in, a desperation attempt at the touch, but the third and final flag is going to go in. So, Areep Beaver, they ain't done yet, boys. They take the game of Coliseum, capture the flag 3-1. And these boys are giving as good as they get.
I mean, that was a strange game.
That was a weird game. That was a really weird game of Collie CTF.
So many Coliseum CTF games we've seen lately have been very, very strange. I mean, it seems like ever since Optic versus Splice at DreamHack, we've just been seeing Coliseum's meta just been thrown out the window and everyone's just kind of doing what they like. Right there, I mean, we're seeing, again, some good stats from players like Snaky, who haven't really shone so far in this series, but, I mean, that's a good one if you're a Rate Beaver to get back in this series. Now you're all tied up, 2-2. Instead of being 3-1 down, you're all tied up, and we're even in this series. So that was a really key game for them to get. Like we said before the game, with Infused, they reset this bracket, they get that second best of 7. More than likely, they're going to win it.
It's quite interesting now as well because it seems like they're really good at CTF, but I'm worried about how their slaying abilities in the Strongholds games is going to work out. But I'd be a bit worried with Infused as well. Not too worried because of the fact that, you know, they made some great plays on the Strongholds. They've shown that their old school Infused roster is still there. But the problem is the fact that they outslayed them quite heavily. And you can see from the damage dealt from all the players, especially with a couple of them on especially Sniper and the Snaky. It's going to be quite interesting now because it's weird how they play like that on Truth and Collie CTF, but not on some of the other game types.
Yeah. And from most damage in the game last time round to least this time. Kimbo on Rig Stronghold had a really great game. We saw some very kind of suspect shots from him in the base against Snipe Drone. He actually had 64% accuracy, so shooting pretty well apart from that one play we saw on stream, but from most damage in the game to least. And there's some, you know, kind of crazy, wacky highlights we're going to see here on Coliseum after a very scrappy game, but some nice flag captures when they were actually run. This was the play of the game, in my opinion, to keep the game alive for his team. Jimbo backs against the ropes to give his team a hope. Getting that touch is so vital in that situation.
I was going to say, I think we pretty much didn't see one clean flag run in that game, which to me says communication issues. It also says trying to force things, and it just says it's not the cleanest of gameplays.
I think we saw one, and I think that was the very start. You know, when we saw Flux push up to Infused elbow, we saw him run the flag, like we said before, when, you know, teams are starting to realize now if you go up elbow and there's no one there, you can kind of run the flag back on yourself and get it pretty far. That, in my opinion, is a clean flag run. That's a design play from Flux. But the problem was he had Infused overextenders pushing through the snipe side. They were running a flag themselves, so it made it appear a little bit messy. I actually really liked the idea to run the flag right there, and it paid off in the end as they won the standoff, got the return, and got the first flag capture. But yeah, I agree. Very scrappy game. Certainly not like what we saw from the first game of the stream where Infused kind of bossed the game. Beaver did a very good job slaying out, especially considering the power weapons that we saw in the hands of Team Infused. Seems like more often than not we saw them with a power weapon in their hands, but not really putting them to use.
It's quite interesting as well, because with Infused, I did notice some defensive strategies they had. So they were putting themselves in certain areas around the flag area, just so that if anyone does come in, at least they've got some sort of crossfire. So when there is a crossfire involved and they keep trading against their opponents, at least if there's only one left or anything like that, then if one of them does pull the flag, then they can get the reach straight away, because one of them will just respawn open, or maybe the other side, just in case like anything happens. So in that way, when you do get those kind of crossfires, you can keep trading, and that way you'll spend more time for them to actually try and get to their flag rather than vice versa. So it makes it a lot easier for Infused. But I just find it weird how I thought they were quite well set up, and then all of a sudden the Beaver squad just walked in as though they didn't have a setup, and they just like demolished them all as though it was their day job. So I don't get what happened there. But
again, for me, that has to be a communication issue. That's not keeping track of players. That's not keeping track of your kills. You'll see so often players saying, 3 dead, where's X, for example, where's Snaky? I don't think they were doing a great job of that, if I'm honest, because there always seemed to be that player who was managing to stay alive. But this is the series layout so far. We have a hell of a series on our hand. We are going into game number 5. It is going to be Plaza Slayer, gentlemen. Another control-based map for me.
A hell of a series we've seen so far. Just a shame that we've got the team name on the blue side right now, the Beaver squad, as we're calling it, because this is honestly shaping up to be one of the best finals that European Halo has seen in a long time. We're in a game 5 of a best of 7. It's not often we see European teams really go the distance in best of 7s. In my experience, I think I've seen it done once off of memory, and that was during the Pro League with I can't even remember the two teams. I think it was actually a relegation with VWS versus Egoed V2.
Zer's team.
I think it was
it
called?
at that
Yeah,
time?
that's the one. They went to a game 7, and that was a fun one to watch. But it's not often we see two top teams really go the distance in Europe. So this one is really shaping up. If Infused win this best of 7, then this really could go down in the ages as one of the best series of European Halo we've seen.
Well, let's see if we get to that second best of 7, of course. Arit Beaver, they've only got to win one. Are we going to see a second best of 7? It's up to Infused to win the next few game types. It's going to be Plaza Slayer for your game number 5. Starting this one off with Snaky, that overshield going to be so vital, gentlemen.
Yeah, so vital, and that's why you're seeing Snaky kind of take this dip angle right here. He's just kind of cutting off half of the map. 2 of the first kills going in. It's actually going to be Snipe Drone to whip in, grab overshield just as the plasma pistol shot hits, and this is a nightmare start. If you're a Team Infused fan, as Snipe Drone gets the overshield, they will get control of Sniper too, but actually that's being contested as they push forward to Yard a little bit too soon, and that's going to allow Infused to spawn at Snipe Lift, and as a result, Kimbo has actually gotten away with the sniper right now.
I was going to say, this is the complete reversal of the last Slayer game we saw. We saw Infused with that hot start, getting the overshield, getting that 4 dead. This time it is a Beaver. And every time I say it, a little bit of me dies. But Kimbo has managed to find that sniper rifle and keep it in his hands, and you have to commend him here. They were 3 dead. Kimbo managed to get that sniper rifle, but all the way through his teammates' respawn, managed to stay alive, keep it in his hands, not turn that weapon over, and give Beaver a chance to essentially extend that lead. Sniper going to be challenging Kimbo, going to be caught off guard. Kimbo cleans that one up, and look at this. All of a sudden, it's 6-4.
I just don't understand, because of the fact that this Infused squad are known for our good stars again, not just Strongholds, but Slayer in general. So to see them come out so strong, and from a bad side as well, it makes me realise now, like, this Beaver squad seems to be more than just what they are on paper. Ooh. Because I've talked about it before, how I think, like, you know, they're probably I'd probably say like 3rd, 4th place team in terms of general, but I've completely like underestimated these guys and played so well against them.
This is really going to test the legitimacy, excuse me, of a Rate Beaver as a squad, because right now they really should be slowing this game down. You have Kimbo with a sniper. You know he's not going to be pushing too aggressively with that because he wants to keep a hold of it. You have the overshield coming up in the next 20 or so seconds. You got the last one, so you are going to know the exact timing, but both teams are going to know that as well, as both teams witnessed it being picked up. But honestly, if you're going to make a push, it has to be all at once.
Boys.
See, the Slay's actually coming in right there. 2 in a row there from a Rate Beaver, and that's what I was talking about. You need to make plays around this time of the game, because honestly, the overshield coming up is going to be such a key factor in this game. Right now, it looks like most of the Infused members are far away from it, either, you know, over at glass as we see a player right there, or a player down low like Kimbo was just taken down. And that's going to allow, I think it's going to be Ramirez who tries to grab the overshield. He was killed before he picks it up though, so look for a player from Infused to try and run across top middle and try and grab that. I do believe it's still up. I wonder if one of the players might try and make a play for it right now.
I just want to mention that one bit where Kimbo was on S4. You know, he didn't have much of an idea where everyone was, and I loved how 3 of them just, you know, quietly communicated on when they should push and when they should go up. And you can tell that this Beaver squad is literally one of those teams where they don't shout, they don't go mad with their conversation out. They quietly, methodically try and push each area, but in an aggressive way. And it seems like their comms right now are so strong, especially on one of Infused's best game types. So right now, for Infused, I'd be seriously worried about this predicament they're in.
And Harry, I've been so impressed with the coordinated pushes that we've seen coming out of a Beaver. They've managed to get that first pick every time, but not only that, they've collapsed from there and managed to pick up a succession of kills.
Yeah, a succession of kills and a succession of map control as well. I think it was Ramirez who actually picked up the overshield just before he went down. There's no overshield in play. Kind of a rare situation we're seeing here on the map at the moment. We don't see a lot in Halo 5, a sniper duel. You can see Flux here with 2 bullets. His counterpart on the other team, Respectful, has 1 as well. So place your bets, boys. Who do we want to stick on board with? I think Respectful, because he has the more ammo and he has a more advanced angle than Flux, is probably a safer bet, but I'm not too sure. You know, within the next 10 or so seconds, you're going to see the game speed up as the overshield is coming up. You're going to see both teams to try and fight around blue and around that posters area.
I think it's best to stick with Respect for now. I was actually going to say Flux because he is that kind of guy who will literally flank around you and wait until you actually make the first mistake. But right now, Respect does some great plays with the nading, and he does know they're in yard pushing trap, but I think right now it looks like they're all looking for when they're going to push, but right now they're making the right play, they're being patient, possibly waiting for if they will get the next overshield, and it looks like they're doing well right now, not just rushing out in the open single-handedly.
I was going to say, I've got to call out Ramirez there. That was an unnecessary death immediately. It was about 15 seconds before that overshield was coming up. He wasn't in a spot where he could escape if that nade came in. It was 2 grenades that killed him. It wasn't like he was cleaned up. And then he was immediately sniped off the respawn again. So that's 2 deaths in a row where maybe he was being slightly over-aggressive, trying to up the ante, trying to push for that overshield, maybe slightly too early. And look at this, they've pulled it back to within a 4-kill game now. And Respectful still has control of the sniper rifle. I believe that Flux is now out of ammo.
Yeah, in my opinion, honestly, I think that was a win for a Rate Beaver. We saw, I think it was Sniper and kill Kimbo as he just grabbed the overshield. That's a big play and worth giving up deaths for in itself. They're only, I mean, they're up by 5 now. They also got a couple of kills afterwards. Not only did they trade off Sniper when he died, they also got an extra kill. So even if they all died right there, I still think that's a win. You get the overshield out of the hands of Team Infused, prevent them from getting back in the game, and you still maintain a 3 or 4 point lead if you die. But even with the trades, they now have a 5-point lead.
I like how Respect now is just being really patient with the sniper and actually pushing around. But I love how Beaver right now, they seem to be so patient, so slow, not giving him really a chance to take off any shots. And even though with Infused, they've been sniping the entire time, it looks like they're not really giving him any play to deal with whatsoever.
Oh, Beaver. Me and Harry looked sideways across at each other and just smiled. It's got to that time of the day. Respectful still has this sniper rifle, a 4-kill game. If he can land a few headshots, Harry, your favourite moment of any game is coming up. 6 minutes about to pop, which means an overshield. It also means a new sniper rifle.
Yeah, and this is a really good position for Respectful to be in. He knows there's no one tram behind him, so he's just kind of looking into light rifle and making sure no one pushes out there like a live drone does. No scope, no problem. He could also see to the sniper that was just spawning there as well. I think it was Kimbo who had that, and he just went down. But Respectful here staying alive. This is a key position because in around 10 or so seconds that overshield's coming up. If your team don't have map control at the time, you need to be in a position to snipe the player just as he grabs it.
And I was just about to say, the only player who was there who could have possibly had a line of sight there was taken out by Jimbo. So Jimbo picking up a huge kill off screen, which is going to allow Team Infused to have map positioning as this overshield comes up. Respectful is just going to be sat bottom mid here. Kimbo has a sniper as well. Respectful has one as well. Is he going to hit the second shot? Narrowly misses that headshot, but Kimbo lands the body shot. Another player going to be bottom mid here. Jimbo gets away with this overshield. The game is now tied up at 28-all.
Yeah, and that's kind of the play you need to win, that team fight at that 6-minute mark if you're a Rate Beaver to keep this game in your favor. Right now, they surrendered the overshield, and now Kimbo and Respectful both have snipers on the map. That means that Infused, they're gonna have a massive advantage, not only in map control, but also weaponry going forwards. That's gonna allow them to escalate into an even bigger lead. That was a big team fight to lose at that 6-minute mark. And now look, Infused, they were down by 5, they're now up by 5 themselves.
If there's those kind of situations with Jimbo actually having overshield, I thought they were going to get like a team kill on spawn at least twice by him. But, you know, because of the fact that whoever it was almost out-pistoled Jimbo with overshield, it still makes me worry now. You know, they're choking a little bit. They've been a bit more passive. It's taken 2 snipers and a few overshields just to claw back, but it's only by 4 kills. So if they do get sniped back from the Beaver squad, you know, we could see the complete opposite at the moment.
Massive swing there. Kimbo caught with his trousers down. It's going to be 1 kill game now. Once again, a push coming in from the guys on a Reap Beaver, and they have immediately rotated to try and catch these players off who are coming off the respawn in the yard as well. Snipe Drone's going to have a light rifle, but look at the shots coming in on him, somehow staying alive. Ramirez picks up a big double. Snipe Drone staying alive, they're just delaying his death, and look at that kill feed. 3 kills now going down to a Reap Beaver. Team Infused, they have a 1-kill lead. Big kill swing once again.
Yeah, big kills from Ramirez there, 2 in a row, but what was very worrying there, it was a very scary moment from a Rate Beaver because the player we were on board with was actually getting shot in the back from a guy who lifted up Snipe Lift because they were opening up those yard spawns. We saw Snipe Drone pushing towards Ramirez, who was coming from the tram. That was them essentially trying to open up those yard spawns. They started pressuring those spawns a little bit too quickly, and now the overshield's coming up. I didn't even realize this. Snipe Drone was last alive. It was Respectful who was on it, and there you go. That's another overshield. Huge, like you say. If he doesn't get melted right here, he only has a little bit left, but that's still a +1 in your team's favor. Kind of a weird push there from a Rate Beaver, trying to open up those yard spawns, pressuring them a little bit too soon, and now it looks like it's costing them as a 4-point lead for Team Infused. This one has to be in the bag for them.
You would think so, but we have seen funny things happen, and it seems like these teams have been going back and forth. Not just trading kills, it seems to be a 3 or 4 kill swings every time we see him. Ramirez flying out top mid there. Kimbo can't quite finish that one off, but look at the kill feed. Snaky picking up a kill on Respectful. It's going to be a player above him on his radar, as you say. He's going to be top yellow. Jimbo, just take that Snipe Drone. Can he pick up this kill? That's a huge kill coming in from Kimbo, but once again, traded out. If Snaky can stay alive here, that will be huge for his squad, but here comes Mose to clean that one off. Respectful picks up another. Just 2 kills here for Team Infused to take the lead in the series.
I was going to mention and think that this was going to be a stalemate situation, but with only 2 kills left, and Overshield's not going to be up for at least another 45 seconds.
There it is.
It looks like they've taken it, and it's now a 3-2 match.
There it is then, Team Infused. They answer back once again, 50-43 right now. Whew. This series, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably hindered by the fact that I keep having to say a Reap Beaver, and I will not let it go because every time you say it, I laugh, and every time I say it, I look across and see you laugh. But, I mean, a fantastic game from those 2 squads. So evenly matched, and look at that, Respectful. Turning up right now, Harry, 16-8.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to kind of look at those kind of low kills from Snaky and Ramirez, lamenting them for that. But, I mean, when you were looking at Snaky's kills and assists combined, they were actually higher than the player that was above him. I think that was Flux. Excuse me, it was Snipe Drone. So Snaky, you know, didn't have the worst of games despite him not having as many kills as the players above him. Ramirez, though, His death count, in my opinion, was a little bit high, but great plays all round from Team Infused. They were winning the team fights when it mattered, especially when they were down, to get the map control when it mattered, to get the overshield and get the sniper rifle. Very well played from them. It's almost like what we saw on Rig Strongholds, them controlling the power weapons, winning the team fights for the power-ups, and it came into fruition later on in the game.
I quite like how Beaver's been playing so far, just due to the fact that with Infused, they had so many overshields, so many snipes, but not giving them any chance at all to even use anything. And there's a few times as well where Jimbo and also someone else had overshield, but I didn't really push far enough, I wasn't aggressive enough. And for some reason, as they were going into these fights, they didn't really seem that confident in their shots. But how they're all positioned and how they're all waiting for an opportunity to actually try and take them down, I thought it was really good. And I think with Beaver as well, you can tell that their counter-attacks and how strategically to actually play against when they've got overshield and snipe seems to be what's in their favour at the moment. So I would be, for Infused, just a little bit worried if they don't get any of these power-ups or power weapons in the future games at the moment.
So what's cool right here is we're actually seeing another tactical side swap, I do believe, going into Eden Strongholds, which is one of the maps which sidedness really does come into account when you think about blue team being at a disadvantage for that overshield at the start of the game. They're the ones that have to make a play to stop those players at red to grab the overshield. But going back to that last game, I mean, what a great performance all round. I mean, we didn't really see the sniper being put into use off of memory from a Rate Beaver. I mean, how many times in these highlights are we seeing kills from Respectful, Kimbo, really putting the sniper into play? We didn't really see that from anyone on a Rate Beaver. We didn't see the players that had the snipe when they got it momentarily really translate that weapon into kills. I really think that was the difference maker. Alongside those team fight wins for Team Infused, I think that was the difference maker in that slate.
And it's not the first time we've seen it, is it? I mean, we go back to the Rig game, we look at that Strongholds game. Power weapons have been so vital. I mean, it almost sounds like a broken record at this point in Halo 5, but I would say in comparison to any other Halo in the entire franchise, power weapons arguably are easier to use and more effective than we have seen in previous titles. So you have to control them. Yep. It's as simple as that. If you don't, you're going to be giving away slays, you're going to be giving away control. They're keeping the games close, but when they aren't getting those power weapons, you have to worry. You have to think about, on the other hand, if they did get them in their control, quite how much damage they could actually do in these matches.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, Halo 5 as a game naturally is built around controlling the power weapons. You know, when you have a power weapon, you need to be making kills with them. And where games are won and lost is your output with the weapons when you get them. Not only just getting them in your possession, but actually using them effectively and correctly as well. So the whole game is built around power weapons. And if you're getting them and not using them properly, then honestly, it's your own fault. Coming back to the next game, though, as I was saying before, another tactical side switch, I do believe, is going to be a Rate Beaver mate who were blue in the last game, now going to the red side here on Eden, which means they're going to have a favorable spawn for the overshield, means they can straight line that, and it's going to be Team Infused that have to make a play on that guy. If they grab the overshield off the start, which again is more than favored for the red team, they're going to be guaranteed the rockets as well. So all they really have to worry about is winning the fight at camouflage, and they're going to have a really good start here on Eden Strongholds.
I think you're right, though. It's just the fact that, you know, it's a strategic switch, but, you know, it's a switch which is, you know, only takes a bit of common sense to actually know that you do need to switch from that side. And you're talking about before the power weapons and power-ups. It's not as important as Halo in terms of like Halo 1, maybe in terms of power-ups and power weapons, but in terms of this game, because of how fast-paced it is, it's about how much you abuse it. So if you do get in their faces and then try and spawn kill them, then it gives you enough time to maybe a bit of spare overshield with a backup from your teammates to actually switch across on maps like Rig. But, you know, you're definitely right with Eden. It's going to be one of those game types where, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it from red side.
Abusing Beavers.
Abusing
Only
Beavers.
in Halo
Stop.
eSports.
Beaver abuse.
Peter.
I guess something that we're going to use that hashtag in the chat. Let's get that one trending on Twitter. If it does, humanity, as I know it, has fallen apart. Anyway, Strongholds and Eden. It's been a fantastic series of Halo amongst all the Beaver talk. It is going to be Ramirez, the guy who we're going to start off with. Obviously, the overshield is going to be so vital, that camouflage, and of course, the rocket launcher. Lots of goodies on this map, and it is up to the guys on a Rate Beaver to try and make something happen. But Mose is going to pick up the first overshield of the game, and that's going to be 3 dead. So look at this, Mose is going to be green. He's going to have rockets in the tube as well. Ramirez picked up a double kill, though. So map control might actually be in the hands of a Rate Beaver here, even though Mose has got all the goodies.
That's one of the first times in Halo 5 I've seen blue team win a fight and grab the overshield off the start. Usually, the red team player is straight lining that, and it's either going to get burnt or some, like 1 out of 10 times the blue team is actually going to secure that. That's incredible. In my opinion, that's a misplay from Team Infused. They made the tactical, a misplay from a Rate Beaver. They made the tactical play to swap the red side so they had that exact advantage, and then didn't send anyone aggressively for the overshield. That's a really bad play for them.
That's kind of like a Flux strategy, I'd probably see, because when they actually did that, I think the whole point of what they were trying to do is not just play it slow, but trying to give them a tiny bit of advantage and then try and kill them as they were going for it. So I think they wanted them to actually try and go for it first, whilst killing them at the same time. But doing that, it's actually messed up quite badly for them, and it's now strongly in favour of Infused. So I think next time I do play this game, so I think to rethink what they're going to do as a start strategy.
All of these shots coming in from a red window. Catwalk does go into the hands of a Beaver. They do have the blue bend and the catwalk at the moment, but the players from Infused are coming off the respawn. This is going to be an easy cap here on catwalk. It's going to be up to Kimbo to just anchor this red plat. But there is a player, it's down low. It's Snaky who actually comes and catches him off guard, takes him down. Mo's going to be traded out as well. Snipe Drone making a push on the tower now, but there are going to be numerous players. But he's trying to work with his teammate Ramirez. He's going to get taken down by Jimbo. Fantastic awareness from Jimbo. He's going to be taken down by Ramirez. Flux trades that one out as well. Kimbo now going to be pushing, but look at this. There's 3 players here on the catwalk. Kimbo jumping into a Beaver down right there and being taken down. Snaky does somehow manage to get that cap as well. Rocket launcher is up, and Harry, I know that you're getting excited over those power-ups.
Yeah, kind of weird to see a Wraith Beaver getting sucked over towards the tower right there. I mean, with rockets and overshield coming up, you kind of want to be pushing towards the turbine and getting height control on that particular power-up. As a result of them getting sucked over the tower, Kimbo's picked up 2, and he now has the overshield. The silver lining, I don't think anyone's picked up rockets just yet, and Snaky's just grabbed that camouflage. He's still alive though. Snipe Drone actually with the rockets as well. Snaky with the camouflage out of the game. So now you've got to look out for Snipe Drone to try and use these rockets and take down Kimbo, who still has that tiny little bit of overshield left.
Don't get me wrong, it's like, I love Beaver's coordination at the moment, but it seems to be, a lot of these individual battles, they seem to just be outplaying him. And it looks like Snipe Drone now with the rockets, he is trying to find his next opponent, but as he's trying to get across, it looks
There's
like...
a ghost, he's chasing ghosts. He's found a ghost.
Pretty much like a merry-go-round.
No!
But sadly, he does lose the rockets now, and it puts them on the back foot, because now Respectful's going to go back to security of him, but as I'm saying, he dies.
Flux takes him down. Those rockets are going to be laying. Flux has eyes on them. Jimbo's trying his best to try and get some angles. Drops in the window, though. Hot challenge coming in from Jimbo. Does actually back Flux up into red. Going to be moving in with his teammate for the double cap here on Red Nest, but coming under heavy fire. They do manage to get the capture, so they're going to have control of 2 strongholds. They're going to be holding the blue bend momentarily and the red nest. Ramirez does manage to clean out a player. This is huge from the guys on Beavers, managing to pick up those kills and trade out and manage to keep control of blue bend, but the poor man setup, as we say, Flux trying to defend this red nest. It's going to be Respectful. He's diving down that catwalk, does get the reset. Another player going to be sneaking up behind him. There's actually 2 players here from Team Infused in red. Flux, smart play. Heard the call out there, backs down, and look at this. He's just waiting for those players to walk in. He'll be ready like a shark to pounce.
I mean, you say it's a poor man setup, and fair enough, they'll surrender the red nest. No, they won't. The reset from Snipe Drone. You say it's a poor man setup, but honestly, having red nest and blue bend at the time of the rockets coming up, not the worst strategy to have in the world, especially when you can make clutch plays like Snipe Drone just did. Now, if you're Snipe Drone, do you try and stop blue bend, which he's going to put some damage down, and trust his teammate to grab the overshield? 3 did them momentarily for Team Infused, but Flux has finally broken the spell of possession of overshields of Team Infused. He'll grab those, and Snaky has the rockets here as well. This is where, if you're Team Infused, you really need to watch your P's and Q's and make sure you get a rocket launcher in the hands of Jimbo, who still has the old set, which wasn't even shot, I don't believe. And make sure you're putting damage down, getting those slays, and try and even up the advantage that is the overshield and rocket combo of a Wraith Beaver.
I'm quite intrigued at the moment because of the fact that when you do hold red nest and blue bend, it is very difficult because you don't want to be outside, but at the same time you have to go back and forth to try and actually get something sorted. But once you've got red and blue, you should at least try and get security and get bridge back. So if they do take red or blue, then you know exactly which side to hold if they're going for 2 of the points. But as I'm saying right now, Beaver doing really well, having all the points so far.
Yeah, they've managed to get the triple cap, and I'm really interested to see here if they manage to hold this one or if they overcommit. It looks like 2 players have already fallen in the tower. It looks like the red nest is going to go into control. Oh, Snaky. Beautiful shots from him. Perfect shots from him. The red nest does go back into the control of Infused. It looks like Snaky has actually managed to defend this stronghold. So I like what we're seeing here. They have decided to hold this 2 plot. Snaky with more beautiful shots here. Snaky and that BR working hand in hand right now. He's spotted this player, Kimbo, as well. Trying to finish this one off. Kimbo's going to drop down. I love what I see here from Snaky. Discipline, decided not to chase that kill. In strongholds, when you have control, all you have to do is protect them.
the best thing about this as well, they knew that they always send 2 guys from red to security to get security back. They even predicted it was even going to happen before they even moved. So what they did was they had one at bridge and one security waiting for them to actually make a push. And as soon as they knew that, they knew they'd had height advantage, so they took him out straight away. I mean, the other 2 just fell straight with him. So great play by them so far.
Last chance saloon here, in my opinion, for Team Infused. Rockets just came up. No one's picked those up yet. Overshield just afterwards. At the moment, it looks like Jimbo is kind of relying on his teammate to make sure they're making plays on those 2 in particular. He's going for strongholds instead. I kind of support the decision, I kind of don't. In my opinion, if you lose Overshield and Rockets, unless you make a hell of a play, you're going to have a real hard time taking down the Overshield guy, but don't worry about it. The team fight is crisp. The team shot is on point there from Infused, and despite them not grabbing the Overshield, they're still going to be in this game. So going for the catwalk right there for Jimbo actually pays off.
I feel like the game is in Moses' hands here. Somehow manages to get away with his life as he takes down Flux. Kimbo picks up a kill on Snipe Drone. That's going to be 3 dead here for the guys on a Beaver. Team Infused looking good. Mo's making a massive play with those rocket launches. Just needs to stay alive. They can afford to concede that blue bend right now because they will have control of the catwalk. As we see that one tick over, there it is. The catwalk goes back into his hands. Mose, this is the play to win the game here for Infused. If he can take it down, no, Mose gets the trade. Are they going to be able to stop Red Nest? No, they're not. It's Ramirez who manages to get control of that one. Kimbo takes him down. Are they going to have time? It looks like they are to get control, but no, Snaky comes in and gets the reset. Huge plays coming in from a Beaver here. Team Infused just letting this one slip.
Yeah, Infused letting it slip, and look at the score. They only have 7 points to spare. Otherwise, we're going to a game 7 in this best of 7. Total control from a Beaver, and they need the stronghold right now to Infuse, and Jimbo drops down like a droplet in the rain, and we're going to a game 7.
And a few cheeky teabags. I don't know who that was teabagging Jimbo at the end, but they want this more than them at the moment by the look of things. So, but great plays by both these teams, but especially by Beaver throughout the whole second half.
A great play by the Beavers. What else can we say, viewers? It's as simple as that. Flux putting in a big performance for his team there, but look across the board, every single player there looking good. And I know Snaky might not have the most impressive stats as far as kills to death is concerned, but we saw such huge plays around that tower and doing such a good job of keeping map control for his team.
Yeah, so the tactical side switch pays off. It pays off for them. You know, they didn't make the play at the start of the game like we thought they would. The whole reason they swapped from blue side to red, so they had a favorable spawn on the Overshield. Mose grabs it straight away on the blue team, which is, like I said before, one of the first times in competitive Halo I've seen a blue team grab the Overshield on this map. And they
we're breaking records today, man.
Still come out with the win. This is the series that just keeps on giving. Not sure if who I want to see win this game 7, because on the one hand I want to see more of the series. On the other hand, it's getting late in Europe. Mose want to go to bed.
Pretty late right now.
Mose and Kimbo probably already have their pajamas on. You know, I can see them sit there playing in their little pajamas.
Kimbo's got like scented candle going.
Yeah.
You know, Mum's been knocking on the door ready for that bedtime story. We know you still like them, Kimbo.
But it's just quite strange as well because they both had similar slaying abilities, but they just seem like so much of a better objective team. And it makes me wonder now, it's like, it's not really just about the objective team in general, because it seems like with Infused also much better than our objective game types, but only because of the fact that their slaying power is so strong. So watching this team now, going into the last game, it's going to be, it's too close to call, but you've got to remember, they had a great true CTF game, but will it reflect TS? Well, this is what we're going to find out.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting game type to potentially decide this series. We obviously have some replays coming up as well from that last game while we talk into this next game. The moment in this game, just go back to this one very quickly. The moment that changed for me in this game was that Mose play where he somehow managed to stay alive, but then Snaky just turned it on towards the middle part of this game. This part here, he was alive for around a minute or so in that tower, just holding off players and just did such a fantastic job for his team.
Yeah, holding off players, that's the perfect way to put it, because the kills he needed to get, he got, and the fights he didn't need to take, he didn't take. He was just stalling the enemy team. He was just waiting for his teammates to push up, waited for the cavalry to arrive, and it did. They slayed them out in red security, but what was actually kind of surprising for me to see, that period of play we saw from Snaky that we were talking about when he had the BR at security, they allowed Infused to grab Red Nest when they had no slays. That is something when they go up against international opposition, they can't really let happen. When you let a stronghold go like that, when the enemy team is all alive and all of your team's alive and set up with that triple cap, you need to push that advantage. If you see them getting red nest, fair enough. You want to keep catwalk. You want to make the security play like Snaky did. Fair enough that, you know, it worked out for them in the end. They won the game. But when you have a triple cap, you want to try and maintain that for as long as possible. Get as many points. In the end, it was a situational call from more than likely Ramirez to just fight around the tower and expect them rather than go round to Turbine when they get that red nest to try and fight around security, which in the end happened. But again, you would almost like to see at least a couple of nades or something go into that red nest to try and quell the push from Team Infused, because it was a little bit too easy for them coming off the respawn to grab that stronghold.
I think it's the worst thing as well, it's the fact that with this Infused squad, it's the fact that they're kind of, the Beaver squad are kind of predicting what they're doing before Infused even do it. And if that was me in that position, I'd be like, well, I'm going to have to be even more unorthodox, because normally it's quite a standard thing, like, you know, taking 2 to security, try and get bridge back and then try and push up blue. But it must be worrying for Infused now, because it's like, they know what I'm doing before we even do it. And I think that's very rare for them in their case, because normally it should be them who should be doing it. So this last game time, it's going to be, yeah, it's just going to be so close.
Well, it is going to be a game number 7. Let's bring up the series layout and see exactly how we got here. Game number 1, Rape Beaver taking it 3-1. Another part of me dies. Infused 50-32, taking the next 2 games, and then game number 3, the Beavers answered back. Infused took the next game. The Beavers answered back once again, and we are now landed in a game number 7. Truth Slayer. Will it be the Beavers? Will it be Infused?
So, I said before, the last best of 7 I can remember was VWS at relegation. The game 7 was this game type. And a player that was in that game is actually in this game too.
Spookier.
In Ramirez. So
spooky.
Spooky.
Don't Twitch chat. Twitch chat. I can see it happening, but don't do it. I don't do it, Twitch chat. Anyway.
Spooky. Something. Don't. Come on.
Blank. Anyway, let's move back to Truth Slayer. Truth, we've already seen it once in this series. It was, of course, the Beavers who took that. How do you see this one going, gentlemen? Are we going to see a repeat of what we saw? Are we going to see the Beavers close out the series, or are we going to see Infused send us to a second best of 7?
Oh, I can't call this one. I'm sorry. I'm going to sit firmly on the fence. I know my butt's going to hurt by the end of this game, but I just can't call it right now. Both these teams have been going neck and neck, toe-to-toe in the series. It all depends on who wins the team fights at the camouflage and force the enemy team over towards that carbine side when that power-up's coming up. Obviously, at the start of the game, they're going to be equidistant from it, but it looks like Jimbo's going to grab it first off, and that's going to give them the advantage early on in this game.
I think it's going to be Infused's goal to actually keep us up all night. But kind of looking big so far, with Jimbo trying to take us on the P1, and he's going to lose Camo doing that as well. And it looks like now Beavers have got all 3 members at pink side, and just need one person to try and finish off Kimbo now. But it looks like he's just going to get away, but it looks like now he's going to try and jump in pink.
Oh, Kimbo, the survivability. That was impressive from that man. 3 players converging on him, managed to put shots in 2, clean up another one, just rotating around, clambering around like a monkey around that pink tower. It is 4-4 at the start of this game, as close as it has been throughout this series. We see Mose pushing in on red base here. Does manage to take down Sniper Drone. That's a huge kill. His teammate is going to come in and try and clean him up, but it's Snaky who's going to be chased, caught under this base. And look at this, Mose and Kimbo working beautifully together here to clean that base out. 2-kill swing there. Flux does get a kill on Jimbo across the map, but 2 players here caught across map. It looks like at the moment Team Infused total map control.
They do, but at the same time, those 2 players that you see in blue, that's going to be Ramirez and Flux, actually were over at red a second ago. I saw them on the player outlines just completely beeline over the carbine side. Sneaky plays from Kimbo. That blind side corner, that's something that Strong Side likes to use. I've been in warm-up FFAs with him before. That's one of the most scumbag corners you can use. He sits in that corner all day. But yeah, interesting rotations again coming out from the Beavers at the moment. Snaky will go down. That's going to be a 1-point lead, all tied up once again. In the next 20 or so seconds, double from Flux. The camouflage is going to be coming up. So look for this area. Whoever is at the carbine tower with the camouflage coming up is more than likely going to lose out on that power-up, and a whole bunch of slays here in this game 7.
Yeah, I was going to say very quickly that, you know, when you can't shoot straight, your hands get a little bit old. You do tend to crouch in corners, Strong Side. But 11-11. Jimbo going to be putting a grenade in here, trying to clear up Ramirez. But look, this game is so close. It's nothing short of what we've seen the entire series. Ramirez going to get taken down by Jimbo here. You can see, trying to keep Kimbo alive here, working with his teammate Respectful, but why this is happening, Sniper Drone has managed to steal in and pick up this camo. Jimbo's trying to spot him out. Sniper Drone's just not moving right now, it's a face-off. It's a face-down between Jimbo and Sniper Drone. Snipe Drone is not moving. His controller is still plugged in. What a play! Oh, Mose is now looking at it. Who's next? Who wants some? Snipe Drone. I've got to commend it. I've got to commend that play.
Gosh, that was such a crazy play. Fair enough, his camouflage timer is ticking down right there, but that is some veteran gameplay. The balls on this
is
man,
ballsy.
that is just insane. Marvelous plays, and fair enough, he's not converting this into kills, but 2 players there were distracted for the longest time.
Oh, look at that.
As a result of Snipe Drone grabbing this camo, they're going to get surely a 3-point lead. Actually, Respectful, they're staying alive, is going to keep it a 2-point lead here for the Beavers. What a highlight play from Snipe Drone.
I was going to say, literally, 15, 20 seconds. I've seen some people wait for 3 to 5 seconds, but he's got the patience of a saint. I've never seen anyone just sit there for so long, but that just also shows how much he needs this. But, you know, some people will just hesitate. When they see someone see you at that point and just stare at you, you would just assume literally there and then that, like, you know, they already know where you are. But, you know, for a team against Infused as well, just sitting there like that, patiently waiting for the next move, fair play to the guy.
All I think right there is at least get a trade. If someone is looking at me when I'm not moving with camo, the worst I can... The best situation, I think, is he's I'm just going to start shooting. I'm going to get a trade and I'm happy. But anyway...
Don't forget as well, Snipe Drone's team, if they win this game, they win the whole tournament, and they're up by 5 by now. And the camouflage coming up, Snipe Drone has pink tower control again. Right now, you're going to look for Infused to push out pink side here. They don't want to get trapped at Carbine because that power-up is coming up, and we saw what Snipe Drone did with it before. 6-point lead with that stick on Respectful. We saw him flying out of the window. And you have to win this team fight here if you're Infused, because you can't let the camouflage go into the hands of the Beavers again. I'm not sure if a player picked it up. That might have been Ramirez, but I'm looking across our POVs at the moment. Respectful is on P1. 1 shot. The camouflage just popped, actually, so excuse me. Still on the map, but now an 8. Make it a 9, back to an 8-point lead here for the Beavers. They are so close to winning this series. Infused, they need to get their act together in this game, and otherwise this tournament's going to be over.
And all they have to do at this point is trade, gentlemen. They don't even need to make too many plays. Snaky has managed to get that camo as well. You've got to say at this point, if a right Beaver throw this one away, they've thrown this game. There is no way they should lose this game at the moment. They have control of power-ups. They have map control. Flux picks up another kill here. Mose does trade one out. Ramirez picks up another one. Jimbo going to be taken down potentially here. Here comes Snipe Drone. Respectful going to be taken down here with the beatdown. Does clean that one up. Snaky gets taken down though. Respectful managed to somehow stick him there. But look at this. 9 kills. The kill deficit here. This is looking difficult for Infused.
I'm questioning the play call from Infused. We saw 2 of them push out to the Carbine tower because they wanted to have a base and a tower. When you're playing this game type, you don't want to be stuck in a base without some form of map control. They pushed out to Carbine. I think that was the right play, but at the same time, they didn't get the slays to go with it. They were getting found out by a Rate Beaver. They were getting completely collapsed upon. It was a 2-for-1 trade. That was a 1 added to the lead of a Rate Beaver. And look at the score now. It's a 10-point lead. And with camouflage coming up in around 20 or so seconds, if they get this one, you've got to say, this game is going to be over.
I said this before, right at the start of the day. Infused, I feel like they're missing is the team coordination and an IGL. And it's really shown it. You could have 4 of the best slayers on the team and have such great ability, but that ability is going to go to waste if you're not coordinating properly. But you can see here right now, you know, maybe trying to push 2 up and do these little things here, you know, as a subconscious mode. But, you know, it's not helping at all. And it's now a 6-kill deficit.
It's a 6 kills deficit, but that is 3 dead here for Rate Beaver. Team Infused coming back, and it was all sparked by Brandon Stone's Respectful. He managed to pick up a double kill, a 6-kill game now. This game is starting to close up towards the end. The next camouflage I can see being so vital in this game as well. Snaky trying to take down Mose. He's trying to chase down this kill desperately. Somehow Mose has managed to stay alive. Kimbo picks up a double kill. Snipe Drone does finish off Mose. Respectful here has managed to sneak the camo away though. This could be absolutely huge for Team Infused.
Yeah, and this is what we spoke about.
He's been let up though.
They had to grab this power up. They need to make sure they stay alive.
Stay alive, Brand. No, it's a huge kill.
Dodge with that power up, and he goes down. That could be the hopes and dreams of Infused in this game, completely dying with Brandon Stones right there. Although you see on the outlines, 3 blue players over at Carbine. They
Snipe Drone
get found out, but Snipe Drone is just an absolute machine right now. 41 to 32. Look at the survivability.
He's still alive.
Damaging 2 players and staying alive on a map like Truth, where you have teammates flooding forward like Flux, is so imperative. But they need to make sure they don't get found out. This game has not been won just yet.
I was going to say, there's a few moments here where you feel when you're in these positions, you think you've got to win the game right now. You've got to win the game. You over-challenge ever so slightly, and before you know it, you can find yourself 2 down. You can find yourself 3 down on a spawn rotation, and that's where Infused could steal this game away, which is exactly what it will be. But Snaky with a double kill, Flux with a kill of his own. Respectful manages to get 1, but at this point, you cannot get 3 for 1s. They are just 5 kills away from closing out the series, taking down Team Infused. A lot of people's favourites going into this first seeding cup. Respectful desperately trying to stay alive, but once again, he's been spotted. He's going to be cleaned up. Flux take down Respectful, just 3 kills now.
47-38 now, only 3 kills left until we see one of the biggest upsets of this tournament so far. We've only been Open Cup #1, and it looks like now he's trying to get away, but there's only 1 kill left in it now, and now Flux is trying to find that last kill. But
big double from Respectful. Respectful manages to get a double, but they have to play perfect Halo. It's going to be Flux who might be the player to get it, and it's Attila Ramirez who closes out the series. 50-41 on Truth Slayer. Truth is the Beavers' home. As they close out the series, they're going to be the champions of the Open Cup #1.
You know what I have to say about a Rape Beaver, mate? Damn.
Someone picked these guys up. They've completely proved themselves throughout both series.
Whoever picks them up has to call them by their real name.
What a game from Ramirez. How many times have we questioned his slaying ability in games of this magnitude?
And how many times has he produced? This is the thing. This is the thing. Go to Game 7s, Ramirez, he cannot put in the biggest performances as far as slays are concerned in the previous games in the series, but when it matters, he's always the kind of person to just step up to the plate and once again proving his worth for the squad.
By the way, sorry to cut you off, Harry.
Right, no,
3 kills from Jimbo, least damage in the game by around 600.
That's a lot considering, and that's not really kind of a Jimbo stat you'd normally see. But, you know, I was slating Rami even before the day even started, and it's like you pointed on, Mark. He proves me wrong every single time. As soon as I even mention him, it's like he knows that I've said something about him in a bad way. And then he just goes, no, I'm just going to prove you wrong. But, you know, that's fair enough. Like, you know, the guy works so hard. We know how devoted he is as a player, and I'm so glad that he's proved himself playing so well with his squad.
The thing that interests me most is the fact that now, before this tournament started, everyone's going Team Infused. This is the lineup. This is the lineup. Everyone's been wanting to get back together. This is the lineup can do well again in North America. They've just lost twice to this lineup in this tournament. They lost in the winners bracket final. Now they've lost in the final in a best of 7. As we look at some replays from that previous game, you have to say there's a new contender for that top spot in Europe.
Please tell me we have this sniper drone play, because it was just such a Gillies in the mist moment. Look at this. Take him out on them pops. And Jimbo, he stared right at him for a second. The nerves of steel from Snipe Drone to maintain his position, to maintain that 100% kind of invisibility with that camouflage is remarkable.
I just like the idea that Snipe Drone sat there, he's like this. He's got the camo, and he just slowly picks up a drink. It was a totally undeliberate play, but a perfect one. Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, that's definitely not what happened.
No.
But I probably
did. He was
just a
like,
slow.
yeah.
And a newspaper out, put his feet up.
Don't worry, it's a Game 7, you know, your money on the line. It's on the line.
I think in the 15 years, I've not seen someone sit there for 15, 20 seconds of camera. It's like I said, he's got the patience of a saint. And the worst bit was, the 2 people who were looking, they were staring straight at him. I was just like, what's going on?
That was the worst part. It wasn't just Jim looking at him. Jim finally gave up and was like, right, okay, I'm going to look elsewhere. Snipe Drone turned 30 degrees and Mose was just staring at him. And nobody did anything about it. Like, I don't really know.
You know what the funniest part
You know
about
it's
that
late.
is?
It's late. I just feel like the eyes might be a bit sore and they didn't quite see it.
Don't forget, these guys have been playing for a long time too, but the funniest part is, the recent Halo Waypoint article was talking about buffing active camouflage. Did you just watch that clip back? I think it's fine, guys. I think we'll be okay for now. Just relax on buffing the camouflage, because plays like that still happen.
Yeah, we're pretty good for camos right now, but we're going to have a quick look at the series layout once again to see exactly how that grand final played out. Of course, it was the greatest name. Do you know what? I'm going to give the title away right now. Europe's greatest named team, a Reap Beaver, R8, just so you spell it right, versus Infused, and it was a Reap Beaver who actually closed that one out. The first game, Truth CTF in the hands of the Beavers. Infused